Hello everybody, Big Planes here. Now before I dive too deep into this video on the Emirates A380, I would like to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you to everybody over on Patreon who helps to support the channel. You guys are one of the main reasons why I'm actually able to build these things. So yeah, if that's something you are interested in doing, I will leave a link in the description below. So I've got a lot of updates for you today on the Emirates A380. I've got all four of the engines in to start with, and I've got everything all hooked up. So I'm just going to get straight into the main update of this, and I'm going to address some of the concerns that people had in the last video, and I'm sort of going to talk about what we're doing next here. So first things first is pretty obvious, which is all four of the engines are in place. Now again, sorry about the sort of dismal lighting. That's what we're dealing with today, but yeah, all the engines are in. I got pretty much all the markings. The flaps and spoilers work. Everything's all hooked up. The lights are all hooked up. You can see that working pretty easily. So all the engines are in. I finally took the time to copy them over. I made one engine design and I copied it over. And yeah, these are actually fairly simple engines when you get down to the crux of it. I did not directly copy over the engine design off of the 787, which is a very similar engine. I believe it's like the one on the 787 is like a Trent 1000, and these are the General Electric engines, I'm pretty sure, but they're fairly similar designs. So yeah, I've gotten the engines in, and they're all hooked up, so you can kind of see the cable still running out the back there, but I tried my best to hide the cables. I mean, that's sort of a losing battle. The cables are always somewhat visible. I mean, you can kind of see them on the 747 back there too, but yeah, all the cables are hidden and routed, and I have it all turned on so I can demonstrate to you how the engines can spin. Now, just to note, I do not have engine spinners on, so when I turn this on, it's going to be kind of hard to see. There you go. You can see that, right? So all the engines are on and running. Again, might be a little bit difficult to see. I'm going to up the exposure here so you can, you guys can see that, I hope. But yeah, all the engines are spinning. Again, this is poor lighting conditions, so it's going to be difficult to see it. But all the engines are spinning. They're all working. The lights are all hooked up on the wing. The flaps are all working. I've gotten all of the remaining flap tracks in, so that's done. I mean, this is a better angle to see the flap tracks from. Oh, as I try to get around here, there you go. There, you can see the flap tracks a little bit better from that angle. And the flaps in this one, I extended them down to more about where they should be. So before I had them overextended, this time I extended them out to about where they should be, so that's fairly accurate. And again, the flaps are all working in Motorized. I will demonstrate this to you in the final video on this airplane, but for now, this is what I have them set to. And yeah, when I built the engines, when I built the original engine about a week ago, I got a lot of comments saying that the engine intake looked too square. So I tried to rectify that the best I could by adding some more pieces. Again, it's really hard to see this in this lighting, but I tried to rectify that the best I could by adding some more pieces. Again, I'm fiddling with the exposure. I tried to add more pieces around the outside. Again, it's still a little square, but I added some like jumpers here and stuff. And I think from the distance, it does make a big difference on how the engine's intakes actually look, because they don't look nearly as square on the inside, which was definitely something I noticed too, along with a lot of other viewers. So again, the other thing that a lot of people were commenting about was the wing dihedral, and a lot of people were saying that's too sharp, that the wings were like shooting way off into space. It just didn't look right. But now that you could tell all the engines are on, you can see that the dehedral's actually about where it should be. You can see it comes up in arches and comes up in arches. So this has worked out exactly how I hoped it would. Once I attached the engines, the wings sagged a little bit out here on the towards the wingtips, and it got that very classic A380 sort of wing curvature closer to the fuselage, and I think it actually worked out really well. Again, I'm going to try to hide these wires a little bit better, but for now that's what I have them set at. And you can also see the landing gear is holding up fairly well under there too. So this begs the question, where are we going from here? Well, we're doing the nose. So the next video on this hopefully should be on the nose. Now I'm going to try to break this up into two sections. It's not focusing. All right, I'm going to do section 1, which is going to be just basically a square right here, which is just this. It's going to be sort of me testing out my new fuselage design. And then up here, this will be section 2, where I will actually get the curvature of the nose and the landing gear in the cockpit. This is where a lot of the more, sorry, I'm not even pointing the camera in the right direction. This is where a lot of the interesting things happen, where a lot of the interesting techniques happen, where I'm gonna have to get very creative with how I go about things. So this is definitely going to be interesting. It's up next. I have to order parts for it, so we still might be a week or two away from actually getting a video on this. Hopefully I can get you guys a video on this. Maybe once I just lay some stuff out and get some ideas on the table, I can give you a video. I'd hope it's not going to be another 2 weeks, because nobody wants that. I'm trying to update you guys more on a weekly basis now on these. But yeah, that's where we are going next here. The wing, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much done. I'm not going to be flipping this over anymore to work on it. This is in its final position. You can see that I've basically put the tail here, so this plane will fit on this table, barely. That I've measured that, and that wingtip will slot into the windows right there. So it'll just barely fit. But this is its pretty much final position, the wing-wise, and the next thing I will be working on will be the nose. And I'm going to work my way forward, build the nose, get it on its nose gear, then I will work my way up. So I'll get first I'm going to get the lower nose, then I'm going to start working my way up, and I'll work on the upper fuselage, and then we'll finish off with the tail. So that's the plan for this video, or that's the plan for this plane. We're making some really great headway. I even got the little markings on the, what are these called? Apparently they're called wingtip fences. So that's one of those, apparently that's what Airbus calls them. I called them winglets. I called them sharklets. Apparently that's not what they are. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope to have a video on the nose pretty soon here, updating you guys where I am on that. So that's all I really have for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and bye for now.